Are you confused about how to set your copywriting prices? I see hundreds of writers posting online asking other people, hey, the client just assigned me this. What do I charge? We should not be asking other people online what we should charge because they don't know you, they don't know the client, they don't know your industry. So by the end of this video, I want you to have your rates set so you'll be able to confidently get on these calls and know exactly what to charge clients before you even have these conversations. The goal is to know what your freelance copywriting rates are ahead of time. So I'm Christine. I'm a freelance copywriter in the technology niche, but before I built my freelancing business, I was in sales for 10 years. So one of the things I do is help copywriters land clients using LinkedIn, just using the tried and true sales principles that I learned throughout that wonderful 10 years of my life. So click the like button below and comment the words "me too" if you've ever wondered what to charge. So what I want to show you today is a little bit of a hack, except I don't know why it's a hack. It should really be common knowledge. We should all know about what I'm about to tell you. It's a trick for setting your rates, but it shouldn't be a trick. It's actually an industry standard rates guide that is published every year by the, let's see if I can say this, American Writers and Artists Institution. I just know them by their acronym, which is AWAI. If you go to their site, they're pretty much an authority. I've never taken their courses, but they're an authority on how to become a professional writer. And they publish this state of the industry report that gives industry standard guidelines. And it's basically a scale where you can say, okay, if I'm going to write web page copy for a client, I can charge anywhere from this amount to this amount. And that's what I want to show you today is that once you download this free guide that they publish, you can go in and line by line set your rates and choose how far on the scale you are. But whatever you do, don't go below industry standard. If writing a web page costs between $600 and $2,000, you don't want to charge $150. Don't charge below industry standard because then you know that you're pricing yourself too low. And if a client asks you to go below that, they are lowballing you. And you don't want to waste your time with lowballing clients, even if they seem like, if it seems like this is a great company that you want to work for and you'd be super excited. If they're not willing to pay you, it says a lot about them and probably what your experience will be working with them. And I've learned that the hard way about lowballers and what they're like to work with and how they will treat you when they pay that low. You would think it would be the opposite, that if they're getting a deal and they're paying you minimal, then they should, be thankful or treating you right. No, if you're charging a lot, for some reason, I don't know why, those people will treat you better, probably because there's like a perceived worth thing going on in their head. So let's look at right here, okay? This is the state of the industry report. I can never seem to find this on their website, so just go to Google and type in state of the industry report, copywriting rates 2021. Make sure that you're downloading their most recent file. Once you download it, it has a lot of information, a lot of really great information. So if you're just starting out, like just print it and read it as a guidebook. But if you go to page 33, that's where this grid starts, and it will show you, okay, here's all the services that you can charge or that you can offer as a copywriter, and here are the rates. And as you can see, let's go to keyword research. That's a bad example because this is marketing stuff. Let's go to actual copywriting services. So let's just say you wanted to write an article. It's SEO optimized. Okay, anywhere from $250 to $1,000. Now, based on your niche and the clients that you're servicing, and based on your experience, is where you'll fall in this range of $250 to $1,000. So if you want to charge on the low end in the beginning, I don't really recommend that. I don't think it's necessary. I think just have the confidence to pitch yourself at a higher price, but don't go below $250 for an article. Why I take this guide as like the Bible of copywriting rates is because these are industry standards, meaning that if a client is legit, they will also have these prices in the back of their mind. And why that becomes dangerous for you if you're pricing yourself really low is that they know these industry standards, and if you are pricing yourself low, they're going to wonder why. Why is she not charging at least, her full rate? All the other copywriters have quoted me this much. Why is this girl so cheap? Why is this guy so low? Don't do that to yourself, because people do get suspicious. Here we are being really not confident about setting these rates. Meanwhile, it's the opposite. People get suspicious if you don't charge your full worth. It brings down your perceived value. So stop underpricing yourself. And I think the reason why this isn't common knowledge is because when people think I'm going to become a freelance copywriter, they go to Fiverr and Upwork and those sites, and that's where they go to start their career. And I never did that. I don't recommend that to anyone. And I'm not trying to shit on those websites, because there are some people I think that have supposedly made money on there. But if you're just getting started and you don't have experience and you want to start making money now and you want to work with high quality clients, that was the position I was in. And that's why I took a direct approach, which is pitching clients directly on LinkedIn, which is a big thing that I preach. Is like, go directly to the source. Don't go to these middleman platforms and these freelance bidding sites that are super oversaturated when you can just go straight to the source. So this is, a really, really valuable guide. And for some reason, it's not common knowledge. And that's what I want everyone to take away today is, instead of asking other people, hey guys, what should I charge for this? I just got this assignment. What should I charge? Stop asking people that. They don't know. And I've seen really bad advice be given. If somebody comments on your post or responds to your inquiry saying you should charge $75 to $100, just because they're charging themselves that doesn't mean you should. You are your own person with your own experience and your own niche and your own industry and your own clients that you're going to be targeting. So you have to be the one who creates your rates. And the trick that I use with this guide that I'm showing you is that I set a rate that I thought would be reasonable for my niche. So I'm in technology. It's a high paying, pretty lucrative niche, which I always recommend choosing a niche, at least in the beginning, that is pretty lucrative, that okay, this industry has money. So for tech, I'm like, okay, I can kind of gauge that they have the budget for this. Let me try, let's price this first article at $350 for like a blog post that's under 1,000 words. I think that was what I started with in the beginning. If you get on these client calls, which I teach you how in my guide on my website about how to set up these meetings so that, you have enough of these calls that eventually translate to paying clients. When you're on these calls and you state your rates on the call, usually it doesn't happen that way. But if you send them an email and say, here's my rates, it can happen at different stages of the conversation, before, during, after. We'll talk about that in another video. But if they don't balk or if they don't push back on your prices, it most likely means you're pricing too low. So you want to have enough of these sales conversations with clients and see how they respond to your pricing. If they said, yeah, $350 works for us, that means they had more budget most likely. So on the next call, you might want to, push your luck a little bit more. And don't be afraid to do this, because you should be having enough client calls set up that you can take these risks and that you don't have to be desperate and super concerned of if I say the wrong price, I'm not going to get this client. Don't have that attitude. Act like you're in high demand. Pretend you're in high demand. And I can say that from experience, because I started from zero and I was taking these client calls. I had no experience and I was unemployed. I had no income, and I still walked away from these certain conversations in the beginning that I had a feeling, I had a gut instinct that they were just lowballers, or they were going to treat me wrong. Like, you can tell in these initial client email exchanges, if they're asking for a lot and saying like, why don't you pitch me these ideas before we get on the call? They're not worth the trouble. So I knew in the back of my mind that even though I didn't have a portfolio, I didn't have clients yet, I didn't have any, real confidence, I knew that if I could just keep setting up client calls and having these initial conversations, that eventually I would find the right client to start working with. So I'm curious, comment down below, have you heard of this American Writers and Artists Association or institution? Have you heard of it? Why haven't more people heard of it? I found it pretty early on in my Google searches when I was figuring out whether I wanted to become a copywriter. What is this whole thing called copywriting? I did not know it existed for a long time. So comment down below and tell me, is this the first time you're hearing about this pricing guide? And if so, how can we spread the word about this? Because it's free, it's super accessible, and when people start charging their worth, it helps all of us, right? It sets an industry standard. If enough people write for pennies and they charge per word, it really drags down the perceived value of copywriting. And I just don't want that to happen, because it is really possible to charge, within the 90th percentile and really ask for either your hourly rate or these flat fees and get them really high and hit your income goal. So, please download this free guide, set your rates ahead of time, make a little Canva doc or a Google, if you want to get super simple, Google Doc, and do it as a PDF and have this on hand so that you can send it off to clients. Don't get these assignments and start freaking out and oh my God, what do I charge? I never want you to be in that position of feeling like you're scrambling. Like, we want to be cool, calm, and collected when we're talking to these clients and convey confidence. So speaking of confidence and pitching clients confidently, if you are interested in how to get on LinkedIn and start messaging clients, you can set up these calls and start raising your rates. I have a free guide on my website, paidcopywriter.com. Right at the top bar, it'll say free cold outreach download or something like that. Cold outreach guide. It's free. It'll explain to you how to message people on LinkedIn, what to say, what not to say, a formula you can use to, send these unique personalized messages and not get ignored and not piss people off and not be salesy when you're messaging them. That is literally how I built my freelance copywriting business, was going on LinkedIn and sending these messages and doing exactly what I explain in that free guide. So I hope you'll check it out. Guys, it's been great. I hope this helps. And see you soon.